All right. So unless you under a rock, yesterday, like everything blew up on social media involving Xbox fans and the potential, because I want to make this clear before we even get started. The potential, because this is a rumor. We're talking about rumors here, people. When you're talking about rumors, I just want to preface that before we even start talking about this. These are rumors. There are rumors that certain Microsoft Xbox exclusives will come to the PlayStation 5. And I want to show, because we actually did we did a post on Twitter. Shout out to everybody who has been interacting with the post on Twitter. I think that is it's been literally 180 for our Twitter. But I'm gonna go ahead and show this because we did this post, and this post was on February 4th. So I want y'all to keep it in mind. It was on February 4th, and the article came from Insider Gaming, right? And this article says that Starfield, initially Xbox exclusive, may soon be released on PS5. And I read that and I was like, okay, that makes sense because again, Microsoft owns Bethesda, but let's not forget, a few years ago, I don't even know, it's probably been longer than that, but at least 3 or 4 years ago, Bethesda was its own independent company, right? It was its own independent publisher. So, the main thing that everybody was talking about when Microsoft acquired Bethesda was, are these titles going to remain on every platform, or are they going to be exclusive? And again, if you're Microsoft, you're in the business of making money, right? Like, you spent all this money to acquire Bethesda. So why would you still leave your what's now your titles on other platforms, right? So that was the thing. So it seemed like Microsoft was going to slowly phase it out, right? They're going to slowly phase out the non-exclusivity and bring the exclusivity for future Bethesda titles to only Microsoft platform, which is the Xbox and PC, right? And Steam, of course. So with that being said, the first major title that everybody's waiting for was Starfield, right? And Sony fans were doing everything. They were crapping on the game. They were making petitions saying, "Hey, Microsoft, you need to put Starfield on PS5." Da da da. Like, it was a lot of copium going on, right? It was a lot of copium going on when that happened, when Starfield came out. And then Starfield, the reviews came out, and then it's only was like, "Oh man, like this game actually sucks. Like the game has bugs. It's unfinished. It's not what they thought it was going to be, right? It's not what they thought it was going to be." So then Sony fans are like, "Cool, like I'm glad it's not on PS5." And now we get this report, right? We get this report saying that Starfield may soon come to PS5. And this article also mentioned other games like Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves, right? So I mentioned those games. And Hi-Fi Rush, again, it makes sense. Hi-Fi Rush was a sleeper hit, and it really popped off because of Game Pass, right? So that is Microsoft. So it popped off because of Game Pass. But Hi-Fi Rush, again, you don't have any affiliation, right? You just chose to put it on the Game Pass. So that was one, right? Sea of Thieves has been out for a while. Again, like Microsoft has, they have the rights to it, but I can see that again because it's not really. I mean, it's under the Microsoft umbrella now, but that's not a title that started off on the Xbox. So okay, Sea of Thieves, all right, fine. So that came out, right, and now they're saying that January. They were saying that this was going to start up. So I mean, January came and went. We're in February now, so we still didn't see Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves. So this came out, right? So I don't think people really started to catch on yet because again, it's rumors. So now you get to February 5th, yesterday, right? And I think all the rest of the news outlets called it. They caught wind, and leaks started coming out, and now you get now you get this. So, because this was published yesterday. This one was published yesterday. So now this says, amid mounting rumors again. I wanna keep saying that in this in this segment. Rumors. Amid mounting rumors of Xbox games coming to PlayStation, Phil Spencer announces a business update. So this was reactionary. I just want to also say this was reactionary that Phil Spencer put out that tweet. But this was literally after like all of the Xbox fans collectively started going crazy. They started going nuts on social media. The Twitter spaces were on fire. It was a lot of crying. I've seen so many longtime Xbox fans say, I don't want to be an Xbox fan anymore. Because once they caught this news of other games popping up, because Starfield would have been a big blow if the game was highly regarded all across the board. I think if Starfield ended up being a masterpiece, if it was getting like 90s and above on Metacritic, then I think, if the Starfield news of coming to PS5, I think that would have been a bigger blow. But once they started talking about other games like actual Xbox exclusives, I think that's what got people shook, because then they started talking about Halo. They started talking about Gears, like those two games. Xbox fans were like, no, like what are we doing here, yo? What are we doing here? That now not only the former third party games are talking about going to PS5, but the first party games too. So what are we doing here? Like, what is the plan here, Microsoft? Because you can't get to the point where Sony is still giving you exclusives, Nintendo is still giving you exclusives, but Microsoft is just ready to give up our entire library like it doesn't matter, right? So I think that's what really got people shook once other titles started coming into question in these rumors. So then you have Phil put out the tweet saying that they have news next week. And again, I think that this was already planned. It was already planned. I just think Phil decided to try to get ahead of it as much as he can, right? I think he decided to get ahead of it and was like, all right, cool. Like, y'all heard the leaks, y'all heard the rumors. I see that y'all are freaking out. So let me go ahead and say, hey, we got news coming next. So now this has people wondering, are the rumors true? What do y'all think, people? Are the rumors true? Like, is there a possibility that Microsoft just completely abandons their entire library and is like, look, we don't care about hardware anymore. We don't care about this first party stuff. We don't care about console exclusivity. We don't care about these console wars. We just want to be in the business of software and live service with our Game Pass, because our Game Pass is that generated a lot of revenue for us. We've seen that Halo Infinite started off rough. We don't know if we're going to come out with another Gears, and if we do, will people care? Well, we have Forza, but like I was saying this at the beginning, Microsoft getting Bethesda and Activision was very smart for two reasons. One, you can't just keep coming out with Halos and Gears and Forzas. Like, eventually it's going to get boring. I think after, the rule of threes, right? Like, anytime you come out with the series after 3, then it gets very stale, right? It gets very stale. People don't like, counting after 3. Like, after that, your series is done. You like trilogies, and then after the trilogy, that's it, right? Did I get any clips? Nah, because I wasn't in them. I wasn't in the Twitter spaces. I wasn't actually, listening, but I've seen some. I've seen some clips. But so that's one reason, right? And I've said that Microsoft has been failing on the first party front. Like, these iconic franchises just weren't hitting anymore, and you didn't have anything internally to come out with some banger IPs. Sony, on the other hand, did. Sony could rely on their loyal fan base, and they could still come out with constant sequels and trilogies and even count past 3 with their titles, right? What up, Ace? So Sony could do that. Plus, Sony can bring out new IPs. Because again, Ghost of Tsushima, prime example. Ghost of Tsushima was a freaking hit, bro. Ghost of Tsushima was a freaking hit. And again, that was a brand new IP. That was a brand new series, right? So Sony proved that they can do it. Like, that's Sony's bag right there. Nintendo is always going to be Nintendo. You already know how they get down. They can come out with a million Marios. Nobody cares. They can come out with a million Zeldas. Nobody cares, right? Like, like they just have like the untouchable franchises that it doesn't matter how many games that they're going to come out with, nobody cares. Absolutely nobody cares. So Nintendo doesn't have to worry. You know, Nintendo stays in their own lane. But Microsoft was struggling, and that's why Microsoft made those moves, right? Because now you have those studios that have a track record of making good games, right? You know, outside of, you know, Bethesda with the Fallout series, it's more of their engine that's the problem with Bethesda. But Bethesda does make some good games. Dishonored was fire. I loved Wolfenstein. Wolfenstein was fire. Like, Bethesda has some games, right? Bethesda has some franchises. So you get Bethesda's whole library, right? And Redfall, we're not gonna talk about Redfall. Like I said, Bethesda has some misses. Bethesda has some misses, but overall, I think Bethesda, you know, it's a pretty good franchise. And then you get Activision Blizzard, and you get that entire library. Obviously, you get Call of Duty, which is a huge moneymaker. You got Diablo, you have Overwatch, so you have that. You have World of Warcraft, so you have all of those titles, right? Like that whole thing went through. So now you have them as well. So now you don't have to rely on Halo and Gears and Forza. So that's really the thing, right? Now you don't have to rely on them. Now you can have the franchises that you acquired go ahead and just continue pushing out the games that people are going to buy no matter what, right? So that was Microsoft's strategy. Then you have Game Pass, you have the cloud. Like, that's where they want to go. And you know, it is what it is. Like, eventually you have to pivot, because this isn't going to be sustainable, right? This isn't going to continue to be sustainable for your franchise if you cannot deliver the first party games, if you cannot deliver the exclusives that are going to make people buy your hardware. Microsoft realized, like, I'm losing money. We're losing money trying to sell these Xbox Series X's and Xbox Series S's, right? It's not working anymore. That's why Game Pass is so popular. Game Pass is one of the best values that you can get. It gives you the option to play whatever you want, try it out. If you like it, cool. Maybe you'll want to buy it. Maybe you'll want to, you know, purchase it, but you don't have to. You don't have to. You can beat the whole game. You can play with your friends. And then, you know, if it fades out of the library, cool, you've already played it, right? But if you want to continue playing it, you could just buy it. So it works for them, right? It works for them. And plus you have the option of now all these other games that can go in your Game Pass library. You don't have to pay, you don't have to pay another publisher to put the games on Game Pass anymore. So you see how that works? Like, you already have these two big libraries, so that's a win-win for them. So that's why they did it. And now I feel like the shift is happening again, because Sony cried for like over a year about Call of Duty, right? They were like, oh no, like, we don't have any first person shooter, like, if we don't get Call of Duty, like, it isn't fair if you take Call of Duty away from us. And now that Microsoft got it, they're like, all right, like, we're ready to play ball. Like, we were never going to take this away from you, because we know how Call of Duty is. We know that people want to play it on every single platform, right? So they're like, okay, so we'll make you a deal now. We'll make you a deal so you can still get the game. Like, we'll still make this non-exclusive, but you got to pay us now. So there you go. And we get the money, because now it still remains on all the platforms, but now we own it. So now we get the money instead of just Activision Blizzard. So I feel like that's the strategy. I feel like that was the strategy all along. Like, we're going to acquire these franchises. We're going to acquire Bethesda. We're going to acquire Activision. And then we're going to just reel it back in. We're going to give you the illusion, or really the Xbox fans. I wouldn't say it's everybody. We're going to give Xbox fans the illusion that now that we have Bethesda and we have Activision Blizzard, that we are going to make all of that exclusive, right? Because just imagine if that was going to be like the real plan, right? If that was going to be the real plan. If that happened, then Xbox fans, like, it would be a huge chunk of whatever fan bases, like, that won't be able to play these games again, right? Like, you won't be able to play Overwatch, you won't be able to play Call of Duty, you won't be able to play any Bethesda game, you won't be able to play not League of Legends, or World of Warcraft, like, unless it's on the PC, right? Like, I mean, it's already on PC, but again, so you won't be able to play these games. So that would be a huge chunk, not a real big chunk, but it would be a good chunk. It's really Call of Duty, though. Be honest. Let's keep it sad. It's really Call of Duty. If Call of Duty was truly an exclusive only on the Xbox and PC, it would be very interesting. I'm not gonna lie, it'd be very interesting. So And Xbox fans wouldn't shut up. They wouldn't shut up. They would brag about that until you know the roosters came home. So I don't think that was a plan though. I don't think that was the true plan. I think the true plan was to get these franchises so now you have the revenue for those iconic franchises that people are going to buy, but still keep the non-exclusivity. I don't think it was really in the cards for Microsoft to gatekeep Bethesda in all their titles, or you know, getting Activision Blizzard to gatekeep Call of Duty, to gatekeep Overwatch, to gatekeep Diablo. I don't think that was the plan. So now we're here. Now we're here. Phil has said multiple times that, you know, like their focus is, you know, Game Pass and software now. And I think that next week with this, you know, conference, whatever you're going to call it, I don't know exactly, you know, how they're going to do it. I don't know if they're going to do a presentation live. I don't know if they're going to, you know, record one, or if they're just going to, you know, tweet out some stuff. So however we get the news, I do think that Phil is going to reiterate those points. I think he's going to reiterate those points that we don't want to focus on hardware anymore. We want to focus on the Game Pass, we want to focus on the cloud, and we want to focus on software, which are the games themselves. So I think they're going to reiterate that. But I mean, again, there is a possibility that Phil says, hey, you know, we are going to make sure that all of these games, you know, remain non-exclusive. But I don't know. I'm still not sure if he also says that, hey, like, we have plans to put Halo and Gears on PlayStation 5 and or Nintendo Switch. I don't know. So like, what do y'all think at this point? Like, do y'all think this truly going to happen? Like the Bethesda and Activision Blizzard stuff, that's pretty much a done deal for me. Like I know that that's going to happen, because again, why not? But do we feel like there will be a day where Halo will be on the PlayStation 5, or Gears will be on the PlayStation 5? And if so, like, is this truly over? Is it truly over for all the Xbox fans, all the creators that they've literally focused their entire persona on being an Xbox fan? Like, they report on Xbox, they go in these Twitter spaces talking about Xbox, how much they love Xbox, you know, how these titles, like, look at this lineup that we have this year. Like, do we think it's just gonna be over? Like, are we done so? Maybe games that aren't the face of Xbox, I feel like it's a half measure to be a third-party company. You see these old Xbox One era games on the Switch, like Master Chief Collection. I mean, yeah, I mean, I feel like if Halo did, like, and Microsoft did do that with Halo, like, they would just dip their toes and, like, oh, we're gonna give you old Halo. Like, we're not gonna give you Infinite. We'll give you older Halos. We'll give you older Gears, maybe. But I don't know. It's very interesting. But yeah, if you were on Twitter yesterday, oh my goodness, like, the Twitter spaces were cooking. People were denouncing their loyalty. It's like religion, man. Like, I feel like the console wars have largely been akin to, like, sports, right? They've been akin to sports. So give me one moment. I'll be right back real quick. All right. So yeah, yeah, I truly don't know though. I don't know if this will truly be the end. And if so, I mean, if you're going to feel like having an Xbox, you might as well just get Game Pass and just let that be. Because what other reason would you have it now? What other reason why would you own the Xbox Series X or S? There's, I mean, I don't see another reason. So that happened, right?